you're following the Constitution, and the fact that when debt is incurred, we're going to have to pay it. It's debt. That we had a chance to vote on it.
Let me give you one description. If you would make sure. Can I try to answer? You asked me about 4 or 5 questions.
Yeah.
Please,
well, I have a lot. So.
Number one, does the county enter into any kind of other lease agreements? When I took office 6 years ago, this county was indebted to $4.8 million in lease of equipment. It took us 3 or 4 years before we went through a rise in there and we got rid of those leases. And we paid them off of $1.4 million. So is there leases out there that counties enter into? There are. That's about the only way you can do it. When you get in tight times, that's what gets you the job done. And it's just not rich counties that do it, it's poor counties. And sometime or another, all 23 counties that I know of have had lease agreements. And that is the way you have to try to do it. It's just like you or me. I can't go buy a new car without making payments. I'm going to tell you that right now. And so those are the real world that we're in. These are tough financial times all the way down across the board. And always
Thank you. You're right.
And
so if times are so tough, why are we being saddled with a new debt that we can't afford?
You keep calling it a debt.
It's a debt.
As long as we have the bailout option.
Anybody here think it's not a debt? Any of the people? One person thinks it's not a debt. 2 people think it's not a debt.
Let me just, you're making a good point with respect to the Wyoming statutes and the limitations under Wyoming statute in terms of counties incurring debt. So what you need to understand, I think, is that debt, when it's used in the constitutional setting, is a much more narrow term than what you have indicates there.
So what you're saying is if we were buying it, if we were to own it, that would be a debt?
There's no question. I mean, if you look at the substance of what's happening here, there's no question about it. And I think everyone agrees, I think the commissioners agree, that what ultimately happens here is the county ends up having to pay for this jail. I don't care how you cut it, that's exactly what happens.
The county is the people.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And so in that sense, you're absolutely right. This is a debt. But in the more technical sense of how a county can go about financing what it needs to finance, this is not a debt in a constitutional sense. And what the commissioner, I think, is saying is counties enter into leases all the time. They are not considered debt in a constitutional sense.
I understand what you're saying, but I believe that the Constitution is written very plainly. And I think that we're doing an end run around that. But my final question is, why are you afraid to put this to a vote? Are you afraid that people are going to make the wrong choice?
No, I'm not afraid to put it to a vote, and maybe we'll have to. Maybe that'll be the case, but I guarantee you, if we do, we won't get it built this year. And maybe not even next year.
That's okay.
If I may also, when we went to the cities in October, we went with the thing and take it to a 6-penny vote. Their request of us then was to back off. The timing wasn't right. So now, as this has moved along, that's part of it. To say that we're not willing to let you vote, we've never said that. And there's no thing out there that I know of right now that we couldn't.
But you're indirectly saying that to us now, and that's why we're so upset.
I understand. I do. And so, like Jerry said, it still doesn't mean it won't go to a vote.
Yeah.
So you haven't decided that this is not going to go to the public?
We have not come to a final conclusion. We don't have drawings yet. One of the things when people ask me about public meeting, why we didn't do it sooner, was like, I don't have a set of plans to say this is what we want to build, this is what it's going to cost. I heard a number thrown out here, $30 million. I'm going to stand right here right now tonight. I'm not spending $30 million on the jail. And so I have no intention of doing that. And what we were looking at is more around the line of about 17, 18 million. That's why we took 9 or 10 trips to different jails where we looked at trying to find the right size that fits us. Because that's key when you build jails and centers of this thing, is that you get what the people need. There's no one model that says, okay, here it is, go build it. And so.
But even that $18 million price tag is above what our county is supposed to be saddled with, according to the Constitution.
Well, one thing, we put it to a vote, you'll be raising taxes, and that's what it will be. And so we hear it all the time, don't raise taxes. That's what we hear all the time.